Phillipe Petit Wire-Walking across the Twin Towers. Welcome back to another episode of Connerly's Chronicles, and today we will discuss the remarkable story of Phillipe Petit wire-walking between the tops of the World Trade Centers. I love context, let's talk about some. Before Petit walked between the Twin Towers, he was already a highly accomplished wire walker known for his daring performances in the 50s and 60s. He had been a wire walker in Paris since he was a young boy, and as a young man, he performed a dangerous and unauthorized wire walk across both the spires of the Notre Dame Cathedral in 1971 and a wire walk across the Sydney Harbor Bridge in 1973. That then brings us to his most famous wire walk. Petit had made painstaking plans and had practiced profusely in order to succeed in his wire walking attempt. He had practiced in a field in France on a 200-foot steel cable. He had posed as a journalist and as a maintenance worker for the Twin Towers, had secretly hauled hundreds of pounds of equipment to the roof, had enlisted friends to help him fire an arrow between the buildings to connect the cable, and once all was in place, on the 7th of August 1974, Phillipe Petit began a 200-foot wire walk between the Twin Towers, 1,300 feet above the ground. He performed for 45 minutes and made 8 passes along the wire, during which he walked, danced, laid down on the wire, and knelt down to salute the people that had gathered below to watch him. The NYPD and the Port Authority quickly mobilized to the roofs to try to talk him down. They threatened to pluck him from the wire with a helicopter, but Petit didn't surrender himself to the authorities until he felt that he was finished. Did I mention that he did all of this without a safety cable? The only things that kept him from falling were a large pole that he carried to help him balance and his own 2 feet. He was arrested, and the DA promised to drop all charges if he performed for free for children in Central Park, which he did. His stunt brought positive attention to the Twin Towers, which had been controversial up to this point because they were considered ugly by many. There is a great documentary of this event called Man on Wire, and there's a drama biopic called The Walk, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, if you would like to know more. Have you heard this story before? Does it remind you of a story you're familiar with? Does Phillipe make your hands clammy? Me too. And thank you for exploring with me the story of